Okay. I'd like to call the proper service meeting to order. First, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're in the Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Next is the approval of the agenda. Moved by Peter, Councillor Boyles. Second by Councillor Turner. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Count of mine, nay. Motion carried. Next is there any emergency resolutions? Joe, do you have one? Or is that for finance?
Maybe it is.
Yeah, that's a finance.
Is it?
It's a finance one, Joe. I read it there tonight, so, yeah. Is there any emergency resolutions? One more time, any emergency resolutions? See none, we'll move on. Next, is there any errors, omissions, or corrections to the minutes of November the 17th, 2025? Any errors, omissions, corrections? Any errors, omissions, corrections? Seeing none, we'll consider those minutes approved. Next is a correspondence letter from the, First Nations to the Nova Scotia Municipal Affairs. Do you have any comments or? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next is a report from Director of Public Works and Development. Warden Parker.
Mine just says not present. Does that mean because I'm present?
Huh?
Is that right?
Just a second.
There now, says please sign.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not read yet? Okay, there it is. Okay. I wanted to ask about the flow meters. Are the flow meters installed now? We're pretty near to Christmas, or where are we on the?
Thank you for the question. They're not installed yet, but they're going to be installed by Christmas. Yeah.
So within the next few days, then, yeah. All of them or some of them?
The first 4.
The first 4?
Yeah.
And when will the next ones be installed?
Should be in January.
Should be in January, okay. I thought I had one more question. I was looking for it here, but that's all right. You go ahead, Mr. Chair. If I find another one, I'll let you know.
Okay. Councillor Bowles.
Yeah, I was just wondering, we have 2 properties that been on the list for demolition, or in one is in the Murray Lane.
Yeah. That's not under this report.
Pardon?
That would be under this report, right?
I'm sorry.
It's not under this report for the Director of Public Works?
Oh, no, it must be under the, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, it's coming up, but, yeah, okay. Is there any other questions for the Director of Public Works? See none, we'll move on. Development Officer's Report. Raised your hand.
Yeah,
I've seen that. Warden Parker.
So I have a couple of questions under, their list is number 4 and number 5 under staff report. And one is to do with the natural gas plant project, which is scheduled for Salt Springs and in the Hopewell area. So I see it talks about the development agreement framework has been completed and is currently being reviewed. So is that something we can have a look at, or in certain areas that means a lot to the people there, this development agreement? And does it come here for approval? And when will that be? I guess those are sort of my questions around that one.
Thank you. So the development agreement framework we put together, and we've given the first portions to the applicant to complete. They're working to complete it. We expect to receive that by Friday. There are additional items that we've flipped off to Brian to take a look at as well. The primary goal of this group is to get their application in before Christmas, or before December 31st, I should say, so that they qualify for this program that they're going for. So there's additional, if we find that we have to add anything else into that framework, we can do so. And yes, that framework and ultimately the development agreement application will be brought to municipal council for review and approval. Yeah.
Okay, and is there some papers, I read somewhere today, some papers going to be left here at this office for the general public? I think it had something to do maybe with environmental assessment.
I'm not sure. It is, I mean, that would be perfectly fine for them to do so. I don't know if anybody else
I
has more
think
information about that.
Yeah, so the actual environmental assessments for both facilities are going to be available here for the public to view. If
This
they-
week.
Starting the official date is the 22nd. From what I received from the department says the 22nd, but I believe they're going to be delivered tomorrow.
And when do our offices close?
The 24th.
24th, so will they be available for a longer period of time, or is it only to the end of the year or whatever?
No, the comments are February the 9th, so they'll be available until
Okay, so
February the 9th.
because otherwise it'd be hardly any time for somebody to come in here and get them. But the other question I had to do with, or on that same matter, had to do with, I spoke with two of the individuals that appeared here one night. One was Colleen and Adam, no, whatever the other guy's name was. I asked them about the water, because the big concern was the water and the guarantees on the water. And they said, well, those guarantees should be in the development agreement. That's where the right place for those guarantees to be. And that, from what I've heard, that's the critical issue in whether it's Hopewell or whether it's Salt Springs is, what happens if my well goes dry? And they want that as a legal guarantee somewhere. And when I spoke to them last week, they said that, that should be in that development agreement. That's why I was kind of shocked when I saw the development agreement had already been done, but you're saying that things can be added to that.
Yeah, the development agreement's not done, and the framework that we put together includes items related to the water, as you mentioned. Brian and I chatted about getting information, getting our planning consultant company to review these additional items. So they have a basic framework that they need to get to satisfy even the most basic development agreements, things like site plans, high-level building plans, those types of things that can get sent to our department to generate basically a development permit application number for them, so they can go and say to the people they're applying to, look, we've applied for a development agreement, but these additional items that Brian and I have discussed, we're sending to our planning consultant to ultimately give back to this group to give them a more comprehensive development agreement requirement framework, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
we've sent them what they need to get.
To check off their boxes.
Yeah, yeah.
So as long as the people in that area know that this isn't the end, that there is going to be an opportunity here to make sure their water's protected?
Yeah, and the draft framework that we have with this development agreement process that's going to our consultant includes language around that.
Okay, and I had one other, if I might, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Number 5, under noise. It's not to do with this particular one, but I guess I noticed over the last year or two more and more complaints about noise. And I know from the time I first started here, it was brought to my attention that we don't have a noise bylaw, and that's what it says here, and that you have to work through your counselor or work through yourself as warden or whatever. But should we be having a look at that again sometime and see if there's, I know we always shied away from it on the fact that we didn't want to hurt industry in the county. If we put a noise bylaw in, would we eliminate some industry? But these are a lot of cases. They're not big industry, but they are paying the you-know-what for the people that are putting up with it. And I've dealt with 3 or 4 this year, of somebody moves in next to you. I know we have zoning now, but the zoning doesn't seem to be correcting that problem of noise. It doesn't address that problem of somebody, keeping going to midnight with a bunch of generators and noise. So I'm not saying we should have a noise bylaw, but I'm saying there's people wondering why we don't. And maybe at some point we need to address it again, and if we decide, no, it's still not something we want, then we leave it be. But there are questions related to noise that I think we can't just forever say, well, we don't have a noise bylaw, so we can't deal with it.
Yeah,
Anyway, just wanted to bring that one up because it seems to be recurring more often. And I know John, our new development officer, he has to try and deal with it. It comes to him under zoning, and there's nothing he can do if they're in the proper zone, or whether we change the zone to allow them to be there or whatever.
Yeah, no, thanks, and I'm not sure what Brian might have to say about this too, but we've been given direction before to not pursue noise bylaws, as you mentioned. Different municipalities deal with it in different ways. Those that do deal with it and have noise bylaw, some municipalities have, decibel level readings that, in my experience, were found not to be very effective, because then somebody like Evan's staff have to go out and try to determine what decibel levels are, the bylaw enforcement officer, that is. Other tacts that some municipalities have taken is to allow certain usages, certain activities for certain times of the day, rather than just saying you're not allowed to do whatever type of work here. Say you're not allowed to do whatever type of work here after 8 o'clock on a weekday or something like that. So there are different ways that you can look at it, and not sure what Brian might have to say about it, but if we could potentially get some information about what some other municipalities around have and how they approach it.
I'm only saying we should look at it maybe, and if it's still not something we want, then we turn it down. But at least we could say to people, we had another look at it, because people are asking me sometimes, well, when was that decision made? And they say, well, it's always been that way. And that's the only answer I have usually. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My comments or question is to Logan about this new gas plant. The similar question to the warden there. The water is the big issue there, or one of the big issues. We need to have something in that agreement that protects people's water, because that's what they're concerned about. And I think we need something in writing. Otherwise, people are going to be very upset if their water is not protected somehow.
Yeah, thank you for the point. We do have some language included in our draft agreement that we've got, that we're going to have our consultants look at as well, those additional items. But certainly, yeah, we understand from the information sessions that that's top of mind for residents in both areas. So we do have some language built in on that.
Yeah, we need some strong language. We need some protection here. Otherwise, these people are afraid they're going to lose their water here.
Yep.
That's what I'm getting at. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. No other further questions. We'll move on. Streetlight report. Councillor Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I understand this is in Nova Scotia Power's field, but is there any, have they give you any kind of time frame when they will be hooking or connecting these poles so that the lights can go up?
The feedback, we had an information session about a week and a half ago with Nova Scotia Power, and they told us that things have been slowed down quite a bit due to that data breach that they had. So the best they could tell us is just that they're working on it as quickly as they can, but they weren't able to give us any hard deadlines on it. So unfortunately, we're left at what they deal with. Yeah.
Oh, are you done?
No, just one more comment, I guess.
Go ahead.
I guess it's them using the data breach, which happened 6-7 months ago, as an excuse. It's not, to me, it's the same as COVID. Back, everything was COVID for the next 2 years after it started, so I don't accept that as an excuse.
Okay. Councillor Wadden. Debbie, are you, you have a question? She, there she is. Keep hollering, Debbie, we might hear you.
Speakers not be there.
Just hang on a second, Debbie. Logan, Logan, can you answer that for Debbie?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Wadden. Those two streetlights that you mentioned, admittedly, they were not included in the report because they got sort of lost in the shuffle with our GIS person being away. However, they will be installed this Thursday, we've been told, by our contractor. The other one, located at 5065 Little Harbor Road, unfortunately, it says that we're waiting on Nova Scotia Power. However, they've actually told us for that one that they're waiting on Bell, and that Bell is not prioritizing them, so they weren't able to give a clear update on when that one will be installed as well.
Gee, is that, okay, okay, thank you. We'll move on. Emergency Services Report. Any questions? Seeing none, the Fire Inspection Report. And next is the Building Officials Report. And the Bylaw Officers Report. What's that? Okay, Councillor Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, so, Evan, I see those ones, the unsightly or unsafe and non-sightly properties and District 4 has failed. So what is the next step? Is that when the letter goes to the residents, or?
Thank you for your question. Yeah, so it depends on the property and what we're looking to accomplish. If it's a property maybe that needs demolition, the process would look like we would send them a letter. But if it's, say, an area that needs to be cleaned up from garbage or derelict vehicles, things like that, it would just be a notice from us ordering the cleanup of that property. So just depends on which one.
Okay, Councillor Bowles.
Yeah, waiting for the lights here, just like being in town. Just two properties I was wondering about. One is the one on Murray Lane in Hillside that's been on the docket. I don't know, I think 2 reports was put in on that and nothing seems to be done about it. So I'm wondering what's going on with that one first.
Sure. So Murray Lane, the last time you and I had talked about it, it was sent to our lawyer for a title search, and we're waiting for that title search to come back at this point. The intent is an order to demolish based on a hearing here for that property, but we need that title search back first.
What, can you tell me what's happening with these title searches? It seems that, you know, there's the lawyers, what problems are they having with this? Because there's notices on the windows up there on that place. And so how come they're having such a problem finding?
I don't think I'm really the best person to answer that question, to be honest. I don't know what the holdup is with some of these title searches, but I'm not sure about what the process looks like in the background to get them either. So perhaps the CAO would be better to answer that than me.
Okay, and, well, must find out from that. Brian, you know what's going on there?
No, we have a number of title searches there. The ones I can inquire about that one because it's a different process than the ones I've been dealing with. So those would have been, that one would have been submitted, not by me, would have been submitted by Bylaw. So we can follow up on where that is in the process as far as getting it back. So we can ask that question and have them expedited if they can.
Thank you. The other one is on Mitten Road.
Mitten Road.
Yeah, there's a place in there that's bad shape.
So I'm not familiar with Mitten Road, but could you let me look into it tomorrow, and I'll give you a call and give you an update on it?
The application was put in for it to be looked into and on-site.
Sure,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll touch base with our bylaw enforcement officer tomorrow, and I'll give you an update, Peter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to business items that require action. It's, first one's up is Streetlights for District 2, 481 Fraser Mountain Branch Road. Do we want to do these individually? Or
Yes.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Thank you. Would you like to move that we install lights 41 Fraser Mountain Road, Branch Road?
Okay. It was moved. Is there a seconder?
Second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Next is District 8, 20 Dexter Court, Mount William. You move it? Moved by Councilor Turner,
Second?
seconded by Deputy Warden Murray. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Next is District 10, we'll do both of them, no, we'll do them separate. District 10, civic number 44, Gristmill Road. Moved by Councilor Thompson, second by the Warden. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Count by nay. Motion carried. Another one for District 10, Route 347, McPherson's Mills, 2 streetlights starting at civic number 8339. Moved by Councilor Turner,
Second it?
second by Deputy Warden. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Next is the approval for the RFP for consultants for agricultural land in the land use bylaw. Information was enclosed there about the bidders. Any questions or?
I move that we accept the recommendation of Upland.
Is moved and seconded. Is there any questions on that? Not seeing any? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Count by nay. Motion carried. Next is Nova Scotia burning regulations. Councillor Parker, do you want to?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is kind of lengthy, so you'll have to bear with me here. Recently in my district, an issue has come up concerning burning of large piles of debris from clearing land. The pile that was burnt was 5 to 6 meters high and about 8 to 9 meters wide. Now, these piles are generally disposed of in one of 3 ways. You haul it away, you bury it, or you burn it. and burning is considerably the cheapest method of doing this. Now, the landowner, everything he did was fully legal to burn the pile, and the pile was added to each day for 2 or 3 days. Because it was past the end of October, it was legal by Department of Natural Resources, or Lands and Forest, I guess they call it now. And the fire department, everything was legal as far as they were concerned. But the problem came when the heavy smoke came directly at and into 2 nearby homes. And the closest home was within 100 meters. Even closing their doors and windows would not keep the smoke out. This lasted off and on for 2 or 3 days, which is dangerous for one of the elderly gentlemen lived in the house nearby. But wind was a major factor 2 of these days, causing the smoke to cover the homes off and on during the day. But to my knowledge, there is nothing to protect the homeowners. I have discussed this situation with Evan here, Mr. Hale, and burning is under the jurisdiction of the Department of Lands and Forestry with the provincial government. I know traditionally this is how they clear land if you're a farmer, but we need to do something here to look after the people that live right beside it, because there's no limit on how close you can be to setting that fire. And when you get covered in smoke for a couple of days, that's more than a hassle. It's a major problem for them. So I'd like to make a motion to send a letter to the Department of Lands and Forestry requesting that they review the situation of large burns close to homes with a look at restrictions on distances from homes and the conditions under which those burns will be permissible. An example would be the prevailing winds. If the wind is strong and blowing right at those houses, it's probably not a good day to burn. Copies of this resolution to go to the Premier's office and the MLA, Marco McLeod. I ask for a seconder for this motion.
It's moved and seconded.
Yeah, I'll leave it to you now, I guess.
Okay, any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Count by nay. Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we'll move on. Strategic planning session. The province is available January 22nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. for a planning session in the MOPC chambers. Is that a good date for everybody, or is that just updating people to let them know?
That's the date they're available.
So that's,
Will I be able to come in online? Because I got one
oh,
of
yeah.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. We give them,
So just for,
we give them the dates that were not available in the month, because we have already got other meetings booked for those nights, and that was the date that came back.
Okay. We need a motion for this?
No, I think it's just for information.
Just for information only? Okay, agree? Agree. Warden Parker.
Yes, I got time to make that. So this is, we had talked before about having a goal-setting session, or whatever you want to call it, a planning session or whatever. So this is them coming up to tell us how to plan or whatever. So do we want this to be one single session then, where they're here to guide us, but we're doing our thing on the goal setting, or do people want two separate sessions? I think it's important that we tell them that, or we know that too going into it.
Okay. Councilor McKeel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm all for having two sessions if it's needed, but I'm not really sure what this, I'm glad that the province is coming and helping out, but is it an exercise that evening, or are they kind of guiding us through what we should be doing. So I'm not really clear on that. Like, are we working this as an exercise with our priorities, or will that evening be just, you know, helping us to plan a planning session? So if we're working through that evening and exercise and trying to get ideas out, and that's one thing, but if it's just preparing us to have our own planning session and a guide to use, well, that's another thing. So I think we need to get some clarification on what that is. Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, that's what I'm asking for, is what people's feelings are, if they want to do it, you know, one way, or they want to do it all one night, or do it in 2 nights.
I think,
Yeah.
I think what they're come for is to, just as a guide, how maybe we should do it,
Okay.
and then we'll have our own
We'll have our own,
afterwards.
okay.
I don't think that we should let the province decide,
Oh, no.
no, so.
Okay, we'll go with that then.
Yeah, their presentation will be to help you
Guide, set it up.
formulate and refine what you have, so they'll provide you kind of instruction on how to do that and what the best practice around that would be, but I don't think they'll get specific to your goals and priorities.
No, and I fully agree that we don't want the province telling us what we're gonna do neither. But I want people to come to that meeting knowing what we're doing, not
Yeah.
wondering if it's for this or for that.
Debbie, go ahead. Hello, Deb. There you go.
Yeah, when I asked for this presentation, it was just to have a presentation from municipal affairs to come out and give us some guidelines for how we go ahead with strategic planning. It wasn't my intention to replace what we do on that Saturday from 9 to 3. It was just to get some guidelines from municipal affairs as to what we should be looking at doing, and that's why I requested that. It wasn't to replace our own strategic planning meeting. So I just wanted to put that out there. It kind of got mixed up at the last meeting that for some reason we tried to combine the two, but that was not the intention when I requested that we have municipal affairs come out.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Wadden. Go ahead, Councillor Boyles. Yeah, the second time.
Yeah, sort of the same thing. If you're gonna have this session at 6 o'clock at night, these people are gonna present, then we're supposed to go into our meeting of what we wanna do. I mean, as Councilor Warden just said, we went from 9 o'clock in the morning until 3 in the afternoon usually to do these, and now we're gonna do it within 3 hours?
No.
I can't see how it's gonna
No,
happen.
this here is just, we'll have another one after this one.
You mean at another time?
Another date.
Okay, because
Yes.
the way it was sounding, like
Yeah.
we're gonna do it all in one night,
Oh,
okay.
no, it's another date. Councillor McKeel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. When you were speaking, Warden, you said about having them refine it. Is it better for us to have this in place, our strategic plan in place before they come? Or is it better for them to come and then do our strategic plan? Do we know if it's going to be refined and all these sort of, like, I'm all for having them come, but I want them to come when we're ready for them. So is it better for them to come pre-plan or post-plan?
Gordon Parker.
Well, I would think pre-plan, you know, let's hear about any suggestions they have that might help us, you know, in doing our planning. Then we'll do our plan at a separate meeting. You know, that's.
Yes,
I
I
don't know
understand.
if I mentioned the word refined. You said, I don't know what context it was, but let's have their meeting first. And that's what Councillor Wadden was talking about. And then have our meeting after that, I think.
Yes, I understand we need to have our own meeting, but my question is it better for us to have it in place before they come or after?
I would think that we do theirs first and then we do our own.
Okay. Anybody else? See nobody? No? What's up? Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
So they're coming to basically help you provide or kind of provide you a framework. We'll share with them what we have already, right? So then they can tell you, like, this is how you build on what your goals are. So they'll have what we did 2 years ago with Frank Glant. So I've actually shared kind of an outline with them already, and then we'll share the actual document. So they'll know kind of where we're at in the process type thing, and then they can use maybe some of our stuff as examples, like this is your goal, so what do you actually want to accomplish, and maybe help you build a couple out, or something like that. So.
Great.
Okay. See nothing else? Is there any deferred business? Don't see any. Any motions of reconsideration? Don't see any. So before we adjourn the meeting, wanted to apologize for, I usually have Christmas cards for everybody, but for some reason, I don't even know when Christmas is. And I guess it's getting here fast, so I better start, wake up here. But anyway, I just want to wish everybody here and your families all the best for Christmas, and all the best in the new year. So, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned. Well, Councilor Dorr.
Thank you. And all I want to mention is there's no milk yet, and it's nearly the end of December, so it's just to put the word out there. I brought it up at other meetings, and on the 22nd of October, we got a letter from the school board saying everything was looked after, and there's none there, okay? None at all in any of the schools.
Right.
Thank you.
So I guess the meeting's not, it's in between meetings here.
Just a
discuss-
quick, we got correspondence, not back from the province, but from the Dairy Farmers Association, basically thanking us for raising it as an issue, and that they've been trying, basically said it's reaching out to say thank you for your letter regarding school milk or lack thereof. We've been meeting with the Department of Education and initiating our own advocacy effort to bring back milk to schools who have lost it this year. Letters from others will help with the efforts. We're most grateful. If you're interested, she said she can give me a call and tell how they're trying to get it instituted in both breakfast and the lunch programs.
So maybe we should get a presentation why they're not doing this. Well, no, they're trying to help us. So
Yeah.
invite them to come and talk to us and see what we can do to help them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, we
I
can.
think that's worthwhile.
Partnerships.
Because somebody's not, they're not working together here.
They can come in online too.
Yeah, I think they're from,
They may have local representatives.
the lady is in Truro.
Yeah.
They're the association's in Truro type thing, so we can arrange something like that.
That'll
Okay.
give more publicity.
Thank you.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Simon.
Okay, and meeting, yes. Financial Services Committee, second.
Moving in.
Start meeting.
Settle down.
Everything but the kitchen sink. All right, everyone, good evening. I'll call the Financial Services Committee meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kma'ki people. Okay, first we'll ask for approval of tonight's agenda. Moved by Councillor Turner. Seconded by Councillor Palmer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Any emergency resolutions tonight? Joe, I believe you have one.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Concerning, concerning the, Sutherland River Community Center and District Municipal Association request that the municipality receive donated funds in their community enhancement project. I, hope that we can put this in tonight.
Okay, everyone, is it agreed that we add this to our agenda this evening? Great, we'll add this in at 8.7. We'll call it Kensieville, Sutherland's River, sorry. Thank you for that. Hall upgrades. Any other emergencies this evening? Any other emergency resolutions? Seeing none, we'll move along. Errors and omissions and corrections to the minutes of November 17th, 2025. Any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes of November 17th? And finally, any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes of November 17th? Seeing none, we'll consider those minutes approved. First, we have reports not requiring a motion is communications report for the month of November. Any questions or comments on the communications report? Go ahead, Councillor Turner. Councillor Turner. There you go.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could you give us a little bit of information on your training session using AI? What particular things were discussed, and how do you see it as potentially benefiting the county, and what things could be the county be at risk with AI? If you could maybe talk to those two things, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so we had the guy, he came in and kind of did an overview of just some of the common forms of AI that are in place now, how it's developed, and just some of the basics of it. But then he went over some of the risks. So I think one of the biggest risks, particularly for municipalities, is making sure that residents' information isn't being put in, or financial information, anything that would compromise somebody's safety or privacy, I guess. This would be the biggest concern. And then also, like there's some forms that, like Grammarly, almost everybody uses to check, spell check, those type of things are common practice. But then if you're creating videos or something with AI, there should be a disclaimer that it's been made with AI. And then I think there's not many municipalities right now that have a policy in place, but it's just kind of, there should be something that we look at in the future, is just getting a policy in what we will allow, what we won't allow. I guess, yeah, that type of thing.
Okay. All right, seeing no more questions. Oh, go ahead, Councillor Parker. Oh, sorry, Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Stoney.
I just wanted to mention that in second place there, of the top 10 on Facebook, is the winning litter class. So I think our committee, our new committee on trying to stop litter in this county is doing a great job. That's their second big project. The first one being, of course, the pictures of the wildlife telling you not to litter, and this is their second effort. And I know they have some more lined up, but when you see it show up that high on the list, it tells you that people are, are concerned about litter in our county, and that they're supportive of this committee. So I just wanted to bring attention to that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, seeing no other comments or questions, we'll move on. Recreation report for the month of November. Any questions or comments? Okay, Warden's report for the month of November. Any questions or comments regarding the Warden's report? Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could you just give a little explanation of what you're gathering with the Pictou County leaders, with Dalhousie on the challenges and economic opportunities that are here? Was there anything particular that come out that was that you can share with council?
I wouldn't say anything in particular. It's more the general that we've talked about a lot, I think, in terms of, needing to attract, more business and more labor, I guess was what I'd say was the one big thing. Kind of labor and the training of that labor, that a lot of businesses are held back because they don't have or just can't find the labor that they need in order to expand in many cases. And that's not just true here in Pictou County, but we did, of course, set up we had a municipal economic working group that then turned into a REN, and now it's the Pictou County Partnership, and they're addressing all of those things. But it was an effort by Dalhousie to sort of say, we're here to help in various communities around Nova Scotia, not just in Pictou County. And I believe they may have had one more follow-up one after that, but there was about 60 people sitting around the tables. There was a big circle anyway, similar to this, only a little bigger maybe, and a lot of issues came up, but there are a lot of the same issues we've been dealing with all along. I can't say that something jumped out at me as big and new, but St. X works a fair amount with Pictou County anyway on various issues, and they're just saying that there's some things we could help you with, as well as St. X. They're not trying to push. It's not a competition, in other words, what they were saying. It's we're trying to work. There may be some specialty areas, and I guess the one that comes to mind for me is they now the Agricultural College in Truro is now part of Dalhousie University, so. And agriculture in particular, they could perhaps help us more here than they have in the past. And I think they're just reaching out to say we need to be more relevant in the province than just education.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments or questions? Go ahead, Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had a question for the warden there about the meeting he had with Danny McGilvery, the MLA, on the housing summit. What was announced at that, There
wasn't anything announced, but it was mostly aimed at the housing for the unhoused. It wasn't the general housing for everybody. It was particularly aimed at that type of housing, which in some parts of the province, Halifax in particular, and Cape Breton, there have been some pallet homes or different types of things built, and I think that's what the hope of it was. It grew out of an earlier meeting that was held in Glasgow to do with the homeless and that situation, but nothing really came out of it. But I understand there's some things happening now with the province and whatnot, and there may be, some of that type of housing. The problem they have at the homeless shelter at Viola's place is that there's no place to move people onto. There's nothing affordable, so it's only meant to be short-term stay and you move on, but because there's nothing to move on to, people are staying too long, and that's becoming a problem. So I have a feeling that something is going to break pretty soon on this, and it's probably going to come from the provincial level, but that was just more of a discussion. They had groups from all over the province there talking about, how we could solve the problem, but not everybody was happy with the meeting, I know, and it's just one step in a long journey, I think, to try and find homes that are affordable, and this is certainly not a Pictou County problem. It's not even a Nova Scotia problem. It's right across the country, and probably further than that, but they need to find a way to get housing for these folks, and they can't afford the houses, so what do you do?
Well, Halifax has built or the province has built a lot in Halifax, I think, of these small homes.
Yeah.
And I believe they moved a lot of the homeless people into them. I'm not sure of that, but I mean, that sounds like something we need to do here.
Yeah. And I think it's being looked at, and I think it will grow. It didn't come immediately out of that meeting, but that was sort of a first meeting to get everything fleshed out, but I think there will be something come out of it eventually, and probably fairly soon.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, or Madam Chairman.
That's okay. All right, seeing no more comments or questions, or anything you wanted to add to that, Warden Parker?
No, it was a busy month, you know, there's lots going on all the time, and I think we just gotta stay on top of things.
Yep, okay, perfect. All right, next we'll have the internet report for the month of November. Any questions or comments on the internet report? Okay, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's not too really with the report. At our last audit committee, we had tried to plan an audit committee meeting for early in December because we had hoped that the internet financials would be ready for our reports for last year. Do you have any idea, Brian, when the internet financials are going to be ready so that we can move forward with this? It looks like it's going to be another late time improving the financials from last year.
Yeah, we're looking early January to have an audit committee to approve the financials. And then,
Are they done now, or are you still waiting for them?
I think I have to provide them just a budget information, for comparative purposes, but everything I think is done otherwise on it. So it's just picking a date in January.
Okay. Any other further comments or questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move along. Pictou County Solid Waste Landfill Voucher 2025 report. Any comments or questions on that information? Go ahead, Councillor Parker.
Okay.
Warden Parker, sorry.
I was still looking down the aisle there. So I'm seeing that we issued 6,889 vouchers. That's how many were picked up. And what I'm trying to find is the total returned, just the total of those three or the garbage 1,157. There must be more returned than that, is it?
That's the tonnage.
That's
the tonnage. How many? Perhaps it says here and I missed it. How many vouchers of the 6,889 that we issued? Do you know if half of them came back in, or all of them, or? I'm just wondering what the return rate was.
That information can't be provided. They don't keep that information. Pictou County Solid Waste does not keep that information. The 6,889 vouchers came from the finance department.
Came from here, yeah.
But the amount of return vouchers would have to come from Pictou County Solid Waste, and they don't keep that information.
Okay, thank you.
Fair enough, yeah.
Be interesting.
Sorry, Warden, I deeply apologize. I don't mean to be disrespectful
Oh,
to calling you
don't worry
counselor.
about
I
that.
apologize.
No problem.
Okay. Next we'll move on to,
No,
oh, go
you've
ahead,
got
Councillor Dewar.
Thank you very much. I know it costs a lot of money, but it's unreal how much less stuff's dumped in the woods in District 12. It's, I know there's still the odd mattress or couch or chair gets chucked out on the road here and there, but since we've been doing this, it's certainly helping a lot, I think, and certainly in my area, and I'm sure anybody that's as rural with as many back roads as I have, and Councillor Thompson and other places, and out the mountain, all those places, they used to have a lot of garbage dumped, and it seems to be helping, and I hope that we can continue having the same program for the years to come. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Bailey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So how's these figures comparable to last year or the last 2 or 3 years?
I couldn't find last year's. I went back to see if I could find it. Weight-wise, for garbage, depending on where last year's numbers were, is up probably, we'll say 20% compared to 2023. But C and D is down 20%, right? So, and the price is different. Like the tipping fee numbers change as well. So there's going to be, even if you were the same, it would cost you more because the rate went from used to be 132, it's now 143. So it, right? So there's a difference in the thing, but overall, back to I don't have last year's number, but this would be the highest number on garbage since 2017, and it would be the lowest for demolition. And leaf and yard waste is pretty consistent across the years. But I couldn't find my email from Earl from last year to
I agree with Councilor Brewer. I think it's a good program. You know, even if it is costing them more, it's,
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bailey. Warden Parker.
Just the C and D one, you mentioned, there's these private C and Ds are up and running again this year. I think that's had a big effect on, you know, the amount going to the landfill. You know, they're down a lot in total C and D. People are going to these other sites, I think is why they disappeared for 2 or 3 years, and now that they're back, then that's obviously having an effect. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, that would be, the trend would be when they closed, it did go up, and now it's kind of going back. It's probably regressed further than it was before, but that certainly is a trend.
Okay, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to Councillor Doer's point, when I first came on council, these here dump sites were a big issue in my area. I had numerous calls of the dump sites, and it seemed like they're in the same location year after year. The last 10 years or more, I haven't had one call on illegal dump sites. So, you know, I think the program's working. There probably are places out there that, in my district, that but just didn't get reported. But I think this is a great program. It keeps a lot of stuff out of the woods and that. So.
Okay. I just have a quick question for an update. We had brought about the onus policy. Is there any update on that from the mayors and wardens?
It was brought to shared services meeting.
Oh, yes, shared services.
And there was agreement to review the kind of the entire solid waste bylaw, because with EPR coming in, there was other changes that would be required. So I think nobody had an issue with the reverse onus clause. It was just, let's incorporate it as part of the overall bylaw review. So that's where it's at. So
And when is that happening?
They were starting it when that was brought in the fall. So it'd probably be sometime in the new year, I think.
Okay.
They'll have something, preliminary draft or something back. So
Perfect. Okay, thank you for the update. All right, seeing no more hands, we'll move along to Pictou Antigonish Regional Library report, the Powell report. Any questions or comments on the Powell report? Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering, Mr. Warden, if the warden and mayor send a letter to the province concerning the concerns with the regional library. I just never heard if the letter was sent or not.
Yes, I signed the letter. Shelley gave it to me here one day, and it was just being passed around at that time, and I think it only had the signature on from the mayor of Pictou at that time, but it was going to be, that was probably a week or 10 days ago now, so it was going to be passed around, so I can't tell you if it has been sent yet, but it was certainly making its way around.
Perfect, okay, thank you very much.
Any other further comments or questions on the Powell report? Seeing none, we'll move along to the Healthy Pictou County report. Questions or comments? Taxes receivable report for the month of November. Any questions or comments on the tax receivable report? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along to the deed transfer tax report. A lot of sales, or a lot of high number of sales, dollar value of sales here going on in Pictou County still. Final questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along to reports requiring a motion. First, we'll start with accounts paid for the month of November 2025. Can I please have a motion on the floor? Moved by Councillor Palmer. Seconded by Councillor Turner. Open the floor up to any questions or comments regarding the accounts paid. Any questions or comments on the accounts paid? Right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we'll have the internet accounts paid. Can I have a motion, please? Moved by Warden Parker. Seconded by Councillor Turner. Questions or comments on the internet accounts paid for the month of November? Questions or comments? Right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we'll move along to business items or items requiring action. First, we have District 10, Community Connectivity Event Fund Action. District 13, Recreation and Planning Commission, $1,500 for a community Christmas party. Go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
I don't know if I should make the motion. My name's on it. So anyway, I'll make a motion that we approve the 1,500.
Okay. Seconded by Councillor Thompson.
Okay, just on that.
You go ahead.
We had that on November the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
We had a pretty good turnout. We had free skating. We had to cancel the sleigh rides due to the weather. Previous year we tore up the field a little bit, so I didn't think we'd better do that again. But we're planning on having the sleigh ride sometime in February. And we had entertainment upstairs, and we had the vendors up there, and it was from 3 to 6. And I'd like to thank the internet group for coming out and providing the hot chocolate. That was a big hit. And overall, these are things that get the community together. Like gets people out, gets people talking and things like that. So it's a great way to spend a little bit of money to get people out and interact with each other. So thank you.
Okay. Seeing no further comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, move along to our grant extensions. The first one is Salem and Area Recreation Association. The organization would like an extension of its District 6 Municipal Service Grant for $10,000 so the work can be done in the summer of 2026. Go ahead. Okay. Moved by Warden Parker. Seconded by Councillor Palmer. Any comments or questions? Go ahead, Warden.
Yes, the reason they haven't been able to do it, and I think it's explained there, is on the federal government, and have a meeting set up with Sean Fraser here on Thursday. They had promised them the money 14 months ago, and been after them ever since. And at one point they said the money's all through. It's already been approved by everybody. It's just a matter of allotting how much goes to who. But now all of a sudden lately we've heard the excuse that, well, maybe the new budget has changed things. Well, it shouldn't have changed things because it was already approved. But we'll find out on Thursday, I guess, if they're going to back out of it or not. If it does, it puts them in a very difficult position because they then have to look at putting their own sewer system in. So it's really dependent on that. But either way, they're going to build the building next spring. They just need to know where to put it, and that depends partly on whether the federal government puts their share in or not.
Okay. All right, so we have a mover and a seconder. Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay. Next, we have another grant extension, this time for District 3, Pictou Island Community Association. So PICA would like an extension of its District 3 Municipal Service Grant for $4,910 so the work can be done in May 2026. Can I have a motion? Moved by Councillor Palmer. This is seconded by Deputy Warden Murray. If I can just speak to this briefly, for those of you that have been to Pictou Island, you know the work season is very short over there, especially getting materials from the mainland. So they have their supplies, they just need to get them in, and so that's why they'd like the extension. Okay. Any other further comments or questions? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. 8.4, Northeast Nova Correctional Facility. Councillor Dewar wants an update on the municipality's next step regarding receiving uncollected taxes from the correctional facility. Go ahead, Councillor Dewar.
You think we have any chance of ever collecting anything? The fellows that said that there's one way of sending the message, and that's shutting the water off. And what can they do to us if they do? We'll just say, well, there's no water anymore. We can't send it to you unless you're going to pay for it. And or the sewer, whatever, just shut it off. Water has to go in to bring the other out. Okay, so I guess it's kind of playing hardball, but I don't know. I think if I was running it by myself, they'd be calling up wondering when we're going to turn the water back on because there's stuff gathering there and has to come out. So anyway, if we're just going to let everything go all the time, we're not going to come ahead. And that's, as far as whoever was ingenious enough to put it in the King's name, well, poor old King's got quite a bit of money. We'll send him a bill maybe if we have to, but that's not going to work neither. But there's got to be somebody somewhere that can send the message. If it worked all those other years, and you got to remember it was them that, well, I guess it was Ross Landry that got it there, but he worked hard to get it there, I guess, I understand, and we were willing to help by doing this, so that's not a very good way of thanking people, the taxpayers of Pictou County, by not looking after their end of as we go along. But anyway, I hope there's some resolution come out of it somehow, and I'm sure if the water stopped going in, everything else will stop coming out, and we might be able to negotiate with somebody. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So I did circulate there tonight just kind of a little diagram, I guess we'll call it. So the issue that is out there today is that, or the way we calculate the sewer rate, and this is dealing with sewer, and moving to a system that will allow us to recover on a go-forward basis. The back stuff, whether or not that's ever collectible, do have that out for an opinion on whether or not we could sue the province, or whether or not, from a purely technical standpoint, what the email that they sent to Karen back in the spring is right. Like from a truly technical standpoint, that's the law. It's cut and dry that the Crown doesn't pay taxes, but they will pay user and consumption. So, so right now the way we do it on sewer is we take the sewer operating budget, and we divide it by the number of users, and that gives us our rate. And that, by definition, is a tax. And therefore, the Crown does not pay tax. So we can shift to a consumption-based model, which is basically if you can attribute flow to something, they will pay. So the typical model is water in, water out. So whatever goes into the facility has to come out. So you basically charge both ways. You charge for it going in, which is set by the UARB, and coming out is set by the municipality. So, so there's a couple things that we need to determine and work on. One is on the determination of cost allocation. So how much cost is allocated to users that are not on water, right? So people that only have sewer, and how much of the overall cost is allocated to those that have both sewer and water. So we need to determine that. So on the sewer side, we know how many users, or we will know, we're verifying the number, how many user units just have sewers. And then we'll verify the number of users that have water and sewer. From there, we need to determine basically how much water are we selling or is going into all the various properties. So right now we have properties that are metered, and then we have properties that are not metered. So those properties need to be metered. So we do have a project on the books to meter all those properties. And then that'll give us level playing field for all of that. And then we can work on determining, and we haven't even looked at this, what the cost allocation would be between those two categories. So we haven't even started to look at that, but first step is we need to get all our properties metered, and then do the analysis on what the system actually looks like. So sewer only, water and sewer, and then are there any anomalies in the system, right? And undoubtedly there will be a one-off somewhere, and how do you treat them, type thing. So at the end of the day, you are just allocating your costs differently and spreading them out differently. And so the groups that are within water and sewer, you know, a typical household, they say, uses 272 cubic meters a year. Like, then that's based on like a family. One person living in the home is not using 272 meters, so they would pay less, right? So because it's directly tied to their bill, kind of thing. So so that's kind of where we need to go with this, and that would give us the ability to at least recover on the sewer. The hydrant, there's no consumption with hydrants. It is what it is. It's just a figure that's allocated for fire protection. It's not a consumption-based charge, it's an asset-based charge. So they basically determine that your system has, whatever the number is, it could be 70% of your water system is actually built for fire protection, because it's basically, I think it was once explained to me, a 2-inch line can basically service a residential system, but you build like a 6-inch line, is what you typically have, 6 or 8 or whatever. So the difference between the 2 and the 6, that's your fire protection, right? Is how the calculation actually is determined. So that's kind of where we need to go. So we're looking early in the the new year to have the RFP out for the water meters. Then have that project complete, and then we can start working on the number of user units. We should have the numbers verified in January as well, how many are on the various systems, type thing, and where they're located, and then we can look at what drives our sewer budget, operating costs. Like, I don't know if we're going to have to get down to the nitty-gritty and say the costs of, we'll say, Eric, are water and sewer customers, and the rest are not. So how we allocate the costs of the various systems will take a little bit of work.
All right, perfect. Thank you for that information. Warden Parker.
No, just
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Councillor Dewar.
Thanks. And thank you for getting this information put together. So at least right now, tonight, we can see down the road that there's a possibility that it may come around. And it just doesn't seem fair that our residents have to pay, so everybody should have to pay. And for them to do it the way they did, it wasn't just 100% neither, not even 50%. But I appreciate the paper that we got tonight and what the work that's going to go into it. And it takes a lot of people to get this all organized and get it going. So that's all going to cost us money down the road, or right now, but it may work out down the road. So thank you, Brian. And Logan, if you were in on it too.
Yeah, so I just did this based on conversation I had with the warden this morning. I think I confused him, so I thought I'll put it down in under graphic. So because I think after he left, I was like, I probably confused the bejeebers out of him type thing with it. So I just put that down just to show like where we're at. And one of the gaps is we don't have good information right now on how to develop that consumption charge. So that's really what our focus needs to be on, is developing that. Then we do basically a bylaw amendment that allows us to calculate it on a in and out type basis, right? And then at least on a go forward basis with that, we'll have it, and then at some point the audit committee has recommended that we write it off, and we do have it out for an opinion on whether or not there is a chance to ever recover anything, but can't comment on that at this point. But the email that Karen had received in the spring is technically sound.
Okay. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think they're telling us in that letter to Karen to do this. That one paragraph, I just want to read, it says, while provincial correctional facilities are not subject to property taxes or grants in lieu of taxes, it is worth noting that utility costs such as water and or sewer, if billed based on consumption, for example per cubic meter or gallons, are separate from property tax exemptions and would be paid by the province as part of operational expenses, which we assume to be the responsibility of the Department of Public Works. The amount of the invoice in question doesn't appear to be a water sewer consumption charge, but a property tax bill. So as long as we can rig it up to sound, or to be a consumption charge, then they're saying there that they pay it. So we're on the right track here, I think, to do it. It's quite a bit of work to, like in the towns, pretty well everybody have dealt with it in there before. Everybody's on water and sewer. So if you've got a water bill, your sewer bill is equal to that, because those number of gallons went into your house, those number of gallons had to go out. Ours isn't that simple as this shows here, because we got people that are, on sewer but not on water, or on water but not on sewer. So it is going to take. But the other point I want to make, Madam Chair, is that this will lead to a much more fair system for the user. Because right now, you can have a house that's got, let's say, 8 people living in it, you know, showers and bathrooms running all the time. Somebody next door, you know, a lady in her 80s is, they're paying the same amount for the sewer and using 1/10 maybe. So if we just charge whatever it is, $3.75 or whatever per household, because that's what that top picture shows for the area rate. But this will give a much fairer system. So I think there is benefits, and I would love to be able to get that back money out of them, but I think it's probably a waste of money going after it. But at least even they're recognizing, I think, that we're gypping you, you know, and so we're almost telling you this is the way out. And unfortunately, with the you know, the fire hydrant one, we probably don't have a way right now. Maybe we can find a way, but we don't have a way right now to bill them for that. It's just Councilor Dewar's right. You know, they're using the king to rip us off, and that's the taxpayers of Pictou County. But we're fighting back some, and we've got one way that we can do it, and maybe we'll find another way that, right now, I think we need to concentrate on getting this one done. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Go ahead, Karen.
I just want to make a comment that the larger part of the amounts owing is the fire protection for the hydrants. It's not the sewer. The sewer's the smaller part of the amount that's owing for this bill, not the fire protection for the hydrants is a larger part of the bill, and that's going to be uncollectible, and still will remain uncollectible once this change is made. That's not going to change even after this change is made, because that's still going to be considered a tax.
Madam Chair, if I might, at one point, we thought none of it was collectible. So we gained, a win is a win. We better take what we can get, and if we can find a way down the road to do something with the other one, and we probably can't, but we'll take the win we got.
Okay. All right, seeing no more comments or questions, we'll move along. We'll move along to the property tax exemption for 2026. So last year, the exemption for the property owners was a total income of $30,000, and the exemption was $250. Go ahead, Councillor Dewar.
I'll second it.
Seconder on that. Any other comments or questions? I have a few, if that's okay. How long has this been in place for, this $30,000 with the 250? Is this their third year for this? Yes. Something like that. And is it reflective of the rise in the cost of living here in Pictou County? I would say no. Go ahead, Councillor Dewar. Right. Oh, sorry. Warden Parker was first. I apologize.
I just wanted to add to your list of questions there, sort of as, where are we, I wonder, in relation to neighboring, you know, Antigonish, Colchester, whatever, you know, where do we come up, or do we know that at this point?
Just one moment. There's nothing that's, they're all over the place, are they?
Low income exemption. It's usually every municipality does it slightly different. So East Hants, just looking at theirs, minimum of $267 or 20%, up to 20% of the tax bill, whichever is the greater amount. And theirs is household income, like they do it totally different than ours. They have one adult, two adults, an adult plus child. And, so theirs is formula driven. So they're all over the board. Some are, Annapolis is $28,400. So they're really all over the board.
Okay. Counselor Dewar?
Thank you. I was looking at different ones just in the Advocator, and then when they come up, and we're right with the rest of them. But we don't have a formula, like he said, formulas in different places. Ours was just a set rate. And that's the same as Pictou, the town of Glasgow, and town of Stellarton, they're all right. We were the most generous there for, I thought, last year. So anyway, I don't know anything about what you were talking about there a few minutes ago, but anyway, it's something we can look into for another year, but you wanted to know tonight. That's why I made the motion to go with the same as last year. Thank you.
Okay. Any other further comments or questions before I call for the vote? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. All right, next we have 8.6, Recreation Capital Grant. Northumberland Karate has applied for a recreational capital grant to purchase mats for its training facility. Maximum amount it can receive under the MOPC policy is $1,000. So as you see here, it's substantially more. Go ahead, Warden Parker.
And just, maybe I didn't read it all, but, is this for the whole county? And are there other municipalities contributing to this, or is this just for the rural?
Just for the rural, that's my understanding. There was no other revenue, just fundraising.
Does it service all of Pictou County, or does it just service the rural? It services all of Pictou County.
You turn his mic.
Sorry.
That's okay. Left-handed mice don't really go well with me. Okay. So you're looking to see if this services, I think there's more, I don't have numbers, but I would
No.
assume it's open to everybody in Pictou County, yes.
And therefore, we always ask this question at our council grants meeting, is it, did they ask for funds from others or just from us?
Mhm. So it shows on here, there's no federal grants, provincial grants, other municipal grants. There's just fundraising, $1,600.
That's the problem I have with it. If it's, if it's servicing all of Pictou County, then why wouldn't you ask, all of the units?
Okay.
That's,
Okay. Any other further comments or questions? Go ahead.
So our capital policy is a maximum of $1,000.
Okay.
Like they've requested 3,000, but our policy says it's $1,000 for capital.
Okay. Councillor Boyles.
Where are they located?
The application,
116 North 4th Street.
Yeah, so, again, here we are throwing money out to another place. I mean, I know we got right here in rural Pictou County, we have people that's been asking for money for recreation and it's been turned down or given $100 when they're supposed to at least get $3. And so now we're gonna turn around and help another town, but our own is getting turned down, and that's their tax dollar. We're turning around taking from them and throwing it into another town, so I'm against it myself.
Okay. Deputy Warden Murray? Oh, sorry, did you want to go, Sue Ann? Okay, go ahead, Deputy Warden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is
Oh, your
there
mic?
enough- Is there enough funds left in our capital to cover this? From the recreation?
Yes.
There is?
Go ahead, Zoanne.
I was just going to say, the Northumberland Karate Club is run by Chris Cruikshank, who is a longtime Scottsburn resident who's been doing this for years out of Scottsburn. And then he recently moved to the Ashley Ballet School. So.
May I ask a question? Why is this not being dealt with at the grants committee? Why is it being dealt with now? Because we have a policy. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
I'll make a motion that we give them $1,000.
Okay. Okay.
There's people from all over the county in that, not just from the towns. Even though it's in the towns, there's county people that are in that program. It's no different than giving it to Pictou County Minor Hockey or whoever, right?
Mhm.
We still give out funds, and this is our policy, $1,000. So I made that a motion. So.
Okay, and it's been seconded by Councillor Bailey. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I'm in agreement with this motion, $1,000, and it's a good organization for the children of Pictou County, so I fully support the motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Boyles.
Well, I know that the county, there'll be a county organization that is running an arm wrestling club that out of the Hillside Hall, and last year they put in and they were cut way down because we didn't have the money we gave to everybody else. Now you turn around and want to get to Sutherland. If they put in this year and they turn or cut down, I'm going to point out everybody and just say, hey, these are the people that's giving your money to other towns. I mean, this is crazy. I really think this is wrong, what we're doing. We're taking taxpayers' money from the county and throwing it out to other towns. I mean, God almighty, we've been doing this for so long now. It's ridiculous. But if that's the way you just want to do it, I'm against it.
Okay, seeing no more comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Councillor McDonald, was that a nay or an aye?
Aye.
Thank you for clarification. We have one nay. Councillor Boyles? Okay, it's been marked. Motion carried. Okay, next we'll move along to our emergency item added this evening for the Sutherland's River Hall. I will turn it over to you, Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Councillor Keel. I distributed this to all the councillors to see the agreement, and I'm looking for a seconder, the resolution to grant Mayor Commissioner, Sutherland River Community and District Community Association charitable donation tax to respective donors. I have a resolution, you guys all have seen it. I'm looking for a second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Warden Parker. Just waiting for it to come up here so I could read it. Resolution, whereas the municipality county of Pictou is registered with the CRA agency as a qualified donee, whereas the income tax permits qualified donees to issue official donation receipts for income tax purposes, whereas the Sutherland's River and District Community Association has requested that the municipality receive donated funds for a community enhancement project and issue charitable tax receipts to respective donors. Whereas the Financial Services Committee supports this request and recommends that the municipality's charitable tax number is to be used for that purpose. And so therefore be it resolved by the Municipal Council for the Municipality of the County of Pictou that the Council authorize the collection of charitable donations to the Sutherland's River and District Community Association Community Enhancement Project by the issuance of charitable receipts for same. Go ahead, Brian.
Just for clarification, when we do this, our practice has been it's for donations of $100 or more. It's
Okay.
not for
$25 or
Yeah.
$5 or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
$100 or more.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we amend, should we amend it to say that going forward so it's clear? Or is that just to be understood?
it could be amended. This will require a formal resolution at council.
Correct, yes.
So this is a recommendation to council.
Right, okay. And so that's when the $100 will be included in there. Do we need clarification on that tonight for this vote? Or just agreement?
That's been our practice. It's always been
Policy.
$100 or more.
Okay. Is that understood, Councillor McDonald? That it's $100 or more donations? Yes, okay, you were clear on that. That's great. Go ahead, Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just through you to Councillor McDonald, is this going to solve the problem, or I know it allows more people to donate money, but it sounds like the problem is fairly urgent, where winter is already upon us. We've had some minus 15 nights or lower, and they don't want to lose what money they put into that building for sure. Is this going to get them past the rough spot here, or there must be some objective to putting this through in a rush tonight, and it still has to go through council to be official, which is January 12th, is it? I'm just wondering where that puts the people in Sutherland's River in terms of, do they have some prospective people that they could get the money from if they know that that this is coming, that it's not officially through yet?
Well, there's 2 points here. They do have temporary heat in the place right now, but that heat is expensive, and they foresee this is a way of fundraising for the heat pumps and everything that they require. So I think they do have enough heat to get us over the winter, but to go to where they want to go, and as fast as possible, this will assist them in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Right, seeing no more comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Deferred business. We don't have any deferred business this evening. Motions of reconsideration. Any motions of reconsideration to be brought forward? Seeing none, we'll go to community announcements. Wow. Oh, we got 2 online. Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of announcements. The first one, of course, is the annual Christmas dinner at St. George's, community Christmas dinner at St. George's on Christmas Day, 12th to 2. If anyone in your area is in need of a dinner or just is alone, whatever the circumstance may be, please put them in touch with me so I can make sure that they have a meal stay with them for dinner. And secondly, I apologize for putting me there tonight. I'm not feeling that well, and I think I'm down with a cold, so I didn't want to spread my germs around this time of year to anyone else, so I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Wadden, and same to you. Hope you're feeling better. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's Santa Claus is coming to the American Fire Hall Saturday, December 20th at 11:30. And American Community Center is having their last market of the year. It's a Christmas market, 10 to 1 on the 21st. And just saying, Debbie, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Okay. Same to you, Councillor McDonald. Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, kitchen parties are still going on at Hillside Hall, and the last one for this year will be Friday night. Gathering a little longer to make people, it'll be starting at 6 o'clock rather than 6:30 this week, and it's a little treat on for everybody. Also, on Saturday the 20th from 2 to 4, Santa will be there for the District 9 Christmas party at the hall.
Okay, thank you. And I'll add in one that Santa is also coming to Caribou. He's very busy this time of year. So every year he drives around the community delivering treats to everyone, all ages. So that's happening again this Saturday on December 20th. It's going to leave the fire hall at 1 o'clock, same route as last year. And any kids that want to see Santa from District 3 who are not at the route can meet at the parking lot of the fire hall afterwards. And they'll be posting that on Facebook when they're getting close to getting back to the department. Okay, so seeing no more community announcements this evening, I need a motion to go in camera.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded nay. Motion carried. Give us a moment.